I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Why not the Bears? Another big week ahead for Thomas Brown, a solid injury report for the Chicago Bears, and vibes are very high at Halas Hall after a great offensive and defensive performance against the Green Bay Packers. The Bears can get back on track and right back in the hunt with a win over the Minnesota Vikings, and if they lose, though, it's pretty much over. Now, before everyone gets all, Nick, it's not happening, we're done. Let's have some fun because it's not over till the fat lady sings. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Now, before I begin today's show, hit that like button if you are cheering on the Chicago Bears this Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings, along with commenting Bear Down in the comment section below. And are you a Bears fan and want free Bears news and updates? Hit that subscribe button to stay up to date. All right, so it's not over till it's over, and the Bears still have a shot at making the playoffs, but they pretty much have to win out the rest of the season, and it all starts against the Minnesota Vikings. After an impressive 391-yard day against the 13th ranked defense in the Green Bay Packers, Thomas Brown has his even bigger challenge this upcoming week against Brian Flores and his defense. He's taking on currently one of the best defenses in the NFL, top 3 in sacks, quarterback pressures, and quarterback hits, which we all know our offensive line isn't the greatest at the moment. And this is because of tons of different blitz packages, which he blitzes over 37% of the time, and they are very good against the run. But there's something in Chicago Bears' favor right now, is that Minnesota's secondary, not very good. Currently ranked 28th in the NFL. Bears are going to need to air this thing out in order to have a shot on offense, to put some points on the board. And Brown will need to call the game of his life in order to get things going. He had Caleb Williams going, though, again last week, coming off a massive game of 231 passing yards with 70 rushing and a 74% completion percentage. And when I say massive, I mean from a playing and mental standpoint. Clearly, Caleb Williams was down, but Thomas Brown and him are connecting very well, and you can see that in the post game. But you can see Thomas Brown is connecting with this offense as a whole. In total, 391 total yards of offense, 212 passing, 179 rushing, 19 total points, which I think the Bears could have gotten more, but penalties obviously did that. First downs, 23, which is a season high. Third down conversion, a season high of 9 for 16, again, against the 13th ranked defense in the Green Bay Packers. 3 for 3 on fourth down, and time of possession the Bears owned, keeping the defense off the field, getting them rested, and doing what they have to do as an offense. But it's going to have to be a very big game out of Thomas Brown this upcoming weekend. Again, that Minnesota defense is not going to mess around, and Brian Flores knows that the Bears have the 29th ranked offensive line at the moment in the NFL, and there is going to be a ton of blitz packages. So expect Thomas Brown to be switching it up, and I'm going to go more into that in my 3 keys of the game. But exciting, another opportunity, because if he can do this and he can get a win or at least have a great game, Thomas Brown could be the offensive coordinator for a long time for this team. Now let's do a little bit of an overall comparison of the two teams. The Minnesota Vikings, currently 8-2, second in the NFC North, need to find a way to keep up with the Detroit Lions, and a win over the Bears would do that. But a lot of people are calling this a trap game. And the Bears currently have over 40% of people choosing them to win this upcoming Sunday. And when I go through the Minnesota stats, you might actually see why. This team is very good. There's no denial of that. But how good are they? Are they 8-2 good? Or are they like the Steelers who just got beat by the Cleveland Browns this past week? Bears are 4-6 on a 4-game losing streak at the moment, but all streaks come to an end. And why not end it with an NFC North win against the Minnesota Vikings? And on top of it too, Bears offense moved up 2 spots to 28th versus 30th last week, averaging over 290 yards per game now. Called it that they would be better under Brown, up 2 spots. Let's see if he can keep it up. And the Bears defense stayed at 13th with allowing 323 yards per game, but expect that to be a very close number again this week against a tough Minnesota offense. Vikings, though, offense is ranked 15th. Defense is ranked 10th at the moment. And I want to hear how you guys are feeling about this Bears matchup entering this one, because this is going to be a very good game in my personal opinion. But let's go through a little bit more about what the Chicago offense versus the Minnesota Vikings defense is going to be like. So to start, you have Caleb Williams, obviously on the field, who could break the Chicago Bears single-season passing record for a rookie that was set in 1963 by Charlie O'Rourke with 2,193 passing yards. Caleb is currently at 2,016 passing yards and could do that with throwing just 167 yards in this game, which I think he can do, especially against that Minnesota defense. I think that also on top of it too, the Bears are going to be pretty busy with their offense as well. DeAndre Swift coming off a huge game against the Green Bay Packers. He's dealing with a groin injury, but he is fully expected to play. Let's go a little bit into how the Bears offense ranks against the Minnesota defense. As you can see right now, Bears currently ranked 28th in total yards, 30th in passing, but they are creeping on breaking that 29th mark. Rushing 22nd, moving up 2 spots with Thomas Brown. That's a pretty good, exciting spot. And their points currently 22nd as well. The Vikings defense, though, they're going to be a tough matchup. But again, like I called out, that passing offense currently ranked 10th in total yards allowed, but 28th in pass defense. Not very good at all. Rushing, they are the best rush defense in the NFL, but a big factor for the Bears this upcoming weekend, which I'll get to in a little bit. But points allowed 4th. This Bears offense, though, they are going to have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, hopefully Tyler Scott, Colin Johnson, Cole Kmet. They're going to have everyone working this weekend. And the Bears are going to have to air it out, especially against a tough front line with the Minnesota Vikings. But getting Tevin Jenkins back this week helps that out a little bit. You're going to see a balanced game plan for them, though. On top of that, too, Cole Kmet started to get involved last week against the Green Bay Packers. 3 catches for 42 yards. Expect Thomas Brown to go back to him, especially over a soft zone in Minnesota up the middle, maybe get a couple first downs there. But the Bears are going to move the ball this weekend against the Minnesota Vikings. There is no denial about that. This offense is continuously getting better. They're looking better overall. And I really think that this Bears team can do a great job against a tough Minnesota defense. Now the Bears defense versus the Minnesota Vikings offense, a little bit of a different crapshoot. Right here, you have the Bears defense ranked 13th, 9th in passing, but 23rd in rushing yards allowed, moving up 1 spot from last week, and points allowed 7. Vikings offense, not as good as you think. And I'm going to they put up a lot of points, but 15th in total passing yards. They were way hotter. They were top 5 earlier in the season, so they've regressed a little bit. Passing 13th, rushing 19th, which I'll get into in a little bit. That's a big factor for the Bears defense, and points allowed 10th. Here's the thing with the Bears defense going against this Minnesota offense. They have one of the worst interior offensive lines. And you think the Bears were bad for a while? They're even worse than the Bears. And Javon Dexter Sr. is starting to heat up again. And if he can keep Aaron Jones under control, that's big. From the outside perspective, Montez Sweat is saying he feels 100%. Jarrell Taylor is also back, and DeMarcus Walker as well. So they're not going to be able to run it to the outside very easy with Aaron Jones or Sam Darnold himself. They've been putting the spy back there with having Kyler Gordon back along with Josh Blackwell. So this Bears defense should be able to maintain the Minnesota offense from a rushing standpoint pretty well. Passing is obviously going to be difficult. The Bears cannot do anything soft zone-wise. They need to play man-to-man. And that's exactly what they did on the interception with Terrell Smith, which also I think that Terrell Smith should be starting this week over Tyreek Stevenson. Has an 80.7 PFF grade according to PFF right now versus Tyreek Stevenson's 57.1. But the Minnesota offense, obviously they do have a lot of weapons. Aaron Jones, like I was talking about, Jefferson and Addison, another big matchup that they're going to have against this tough Chicago Bears secondary, but they're going to have their work cut out for them. Hockenson as well. You have a tough tight end that's going to be able to get it over the middle and move the ball for Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold himself, I mean, here's something I want to call out about Sam Darnold, guys. He only has 6 more touchdowns than Caleb Williams at the moment. On top of that, too, 5 more interceptions. And on top of it, too, he only has 300 more yards passing than Caleb Williams right now. So something to keep in mind that this Minnesota offense, they started out the season red hot, but they've cooled off a little bit. And the Bears could make this their trap game, and the Bears could get right back in the playoff hunt with a big win. Quickly going into the injury report ahead of this game, the Vikings are going to be missing both their depth tight ends, so they had to bring up a practice squad guy. They lost Josh Oliver and Nick Muse. Nick Muse is questionable, but likely doubtful, and Jonathan Bullard is questionable with a toe injury. Bears get Tevin Jenkins back this week against a tough Minnesota defensive line. DeAndre Swift and Keenan Allen, though put on the injury report, are confirming that they are playing. They said that yesterday at House Hall. Karana Magaji is questionable. Good depth piece to have back. And Ryan Bates in concussion protocol, and Elijah Hicks with that ankle injury. Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers, because especially with Ryan Bates, we know how concussions are with Jaquan Brisker. But yeah, just send some positive vibes their way. And my 3 keys to the game. Said it last week. Going to say it again. Run the dang rock with DeAndre Swift. Good things happen when you spread out the offense. Give the ball to Cole Kmet. He gets first downs, takes off targets from other people. You have an overall offense. And for the love of whatever you pray to, no soft zone defense. Matt Eberflus told you that last week. You did it, and you ended up having a good game. Listen to me, and you will win some ball games. But guys, with that, Thank you, as always, for tuning into this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. Please hit that like button if you haven't already on this Saturday. Let's keep the vibes high. And also, if you're rooting for the Bears this Sunday, along with commenting Bear Down and subscribe to the channel. We have our live stream tomorrow. We have it loud and proud for you guys, so make sure you tune in for that. Let's get over 500 people in it. But with that, thank you, as always, for tuning into this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, Bear Down, baby.